I'm running because I think our president needs to be free to lead. There are problems here that must be solved. Foreign policy that's flat-footed. Americans who can't find work. And yet, why does nothing get done? Nancy, it's because Washington, D.C. is a boom town and it's owned by the special interests.
So
Look,
how would you handle some of these recent issues? For example, how do you think the president did handling the crisis in Egypt and the crisis in Libya?
he missed them, didn't he? I mean, he has a CIA that's not getting him any decent information. I mean, a guy with a cell phone in Cairo knew more than our president did. Presidents ought to lead. They're not always going to be right, but they ought to lead.
What is it
we missed a
specifically
chance.
that you think he did wrong?
We missed a no-fly zone in Libya.
Well, there's a lot of debate over whether that's the right thing to do or not,
a
right?
president's got to make a decision. I'd do it.
And so you think he should have established a no-fly zone over
Absolutely.
Libya?
And most of his good advice was to take action. Look, we had the biggest terrorist on earth, Gaddafi. The guy that blew down the plane over Scotland, what did he kill? 200 people, 300 people, 340 people. This guy had been a dictator for 40 years, and the people had him. And what did America do? Not one thing. We mouthed off while France led. Look, you're president of the United States for 4 years, not for a lifetime. Your job is to lead, and we have a foreign policy that makes no sense, Nancy. You know why? They're afraid of the oil barons. You know why? They're afraid of Chinese credit. You know I'm telling the truth. The president needs to be careful, but he needs to lead, and he's missed the boat in the Middle East.
So you would embrace a more muscular foreign policy, and recently you've also been trying to establish some of your conservative bona fides, and you weighed in on the issue of gay marriage, and there was a bit of confusion over where exactly you stood on that. So
Not by me.
Can you explain it to us?
I think a man and a woman get married. Any other union has to be called something else. I'm a traditionalist. I'm a fair person. I'll honor anybody, whatever their sexual preference. But in terms of marriage, in my church, I'm a Methodist boy, and in my life, it's a man and a woman.
So should those people, even if you call it something else, should they have the same rights as a married couple? Or?
Well, now that's a question for the federal government, and it's decided by passing a law about such unions
Right.
that they
But what's
do
your
not have.
personal opinion?
I will support that law. I like that law. I also like having a state decide what works in its state. But there is a federal law that says man and a woman. That's the law. I support it. And I think this president should support it. If he doesn't like it, he ought to take it to Congress and change it.